Stephanie?
Yeah, so like Lisa, I do feel that actually the editors should be sitting up here, but they've outsourced their responsibility. So I'll try to keep it short. I don't think I can answer all the questions. So I think Paul was kind of almost insinuating that we should have this free market of myths, right? Let them compete. And yes, I do think that for that to happen, we do have to have a level playing field, and that would also rely on greater transparency and a very different media and political environment, but I do look forward to that. Damon mentioned the emotional appeal of myths, and I think that is the power of myths, right? And that's why they can be so easily manipulated. But I think at the same time, being aware of that doesn't mean it's easy or possible to delink the emotional appeal of myths. And I guess what I would recommend is to adopt a feminist lens to analyzing myths and to consider what is the power and the function of myths. And I think I would just like to end by saying that let's continue this conversation. Buy the book, read it. Let's reflect and let's connect and follow up with action.
Thank you.
Just two quick comments. First, nothing I said denies the importance of history. Indeed, we all live with the wounds that we've accumulated over time, and those experiences should make us stronger. There's a notion from, speaking of emotions, from Sigmund Freud, that we should work through the traumas that we've lived through, not just repeat them. However, not answering any more questions, I'd just like to point out that I think the vigor of all the questions and the discussions in the room today show what a success this book is and will be. And my only other question is, how will you use it to disseminate it, maybe get it taught in the classroom, and generate yet more discussion, lots of narratives?
Thank you. So in view of the time, I'm quite sure if we have more time, we can go on quite a bit more. We do apologize for those questions which might not have been directly answered. I'd just like to close by saying that the questioning goes on, and the questioning has been very full and coming in from different kinds of perspectives and directions in this book. And the whole idea of a life after this book has to be seriously contemplated, just as public discussions must go on in Singapore. I perhaps also take up this idea of this book as some kind of a love letter. Was it the Pinpin's film that is entitled To Singapore with Love? Yeah. So I'm also reminded of a poem, was it by Derek Walcott, Islands. Islands only exist if we have love in them. And on this note, may I just say, this search for different ways of looking at the truth, finding the truth, is still something that is valuable in an age that is called post-truth, in an age of fake news, in an age of alternative facts, and that knowledge, wisdom, scholarship, public discussion, filled with this kind of love that you're talking about, I tell you as an intellectual life is truly erotic and sexy. And this love must go on. Thank you very much. That's it.